What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Liquid. And today we're not going to be talking about Deja Thors. Oh no, we did that Wednesday. If you want to check that video, it's right here, I think. But today we're going to be talking about how we actually went about painting this thing, so let's get into it. And of course, like any good model, we're going to have to start off with a top-notch primer, boys. That's right, we're going to be using the Kaleido primer because it's just the best. It's the best at what it does. It's a really good primer. It goes through the airbrush with absolutely zero hesitation. If you don't have it and you've never used it, you owe it to yourself to at least try it. I mean, it's a little more expensive than some of the other stuff, but it's not that expensive. And if you use my discount code in the description down below when you get it on Amazon, it'll be a little bit cheaper even then. So yeah, just check it out. And then we're immediately going to grab the white primer and do the little zenithal thing where we spray it from the top down to make sure we get a nice good highlight coming from the direction of our preferred light source of choice. So we're going to start off with the base here after we've got everything good and primed and ready to go. And it's kind of like this reddish Martian looking sand type deal, so I painted it with this rust color, which seemed like a good decision at the time. And then, so it's not just one solid boring color, we're going to do our little sand trick, which I had my airbrush pressure turned down a little too low, and you saw those big old splotches of sand color come out there all at once. That's not what you want. You don't want to do it like that. What you want to do is you want it to come out as a fine mist, and it's going to give a nice little sandy effect to your whole base. And now we're going to grab this leather brown, and we're going to do the exact same thing with that color. And then lastly, we're going to grab a little bit of Agrex Earth Shade, and we're going to use that just to kind of tint everything down, kind of tie everything together, and it's just going to make it look real nice for you, okay? And now that we've got all that done, there are some rocks on the base that we're going to have to address. I know we don't want to talk about it, but we have to. We have to talk about the hard things sometimes, and we have to do it. We have to do what's necessary, and we're going to dry brush those, starting with a neutral gray. And then working our way up the brightness spectrum, we're going to grab a moon gray, which is a little bit brighter than our neutral gray. And we're going to start picking out some of those highlights and some of those details, and we're going to start making this thing look more like a rock instead of just a gray piece of plastic. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and grab our lightest color. Normally, we would grab a deck tan, but I figured we'd spice it up and use a color that I don't even think I've opened yet, and this is a fog gray, which is almost a white. It's a very gray tinted white, and that's it for the rocks. Now we're going to move on to the skin tone, and as we all know by now at this point, all good skin tones are going to start with a layer of magenta and or pink and or fuchsia, or you know, just one of those kind of colors. So we're just going to go ahead and shoot that color into the highlight areas pretty much. And just like every yin has its yang and every rose has its thorn, every pink has its red, and that's just what you do to kind of emphasize the tones of the skin tones. I didn't create this method, but I found this method, and we all know pretty much where it came from. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? You don't have to do this. This is all optional. I mean, hell, you could prime the whole damn model white. I think Sideshow Collectibles, a lot of those guys, they just start from a straight white base. You can do whatever you want. This is your deal. This is your party, and we're all just guests, okay? So we're going to move on with the skin tone, and she's from the planet Mars, or Barsoom, whatever you want to call it. If you watched Wednesday's video, you would know that But yeah, essentially she's a Martian, and she does have a little bit of a reddish skin tone, and we are going to use this tanned flesh as the base color for her skin tone. And just to let you guys know that these model files were provided to me by MCM3D over on Patreon. We have a little bit of I guess a partnership, or maybe like a tag team situation going on, where I'm going to be doing a video painting one of MCM3D's models every month, maybe a few more, because maybe I forgot April. Who knows? But anyway, these files were provided by MCM3D over on Patreon. Just awesome Patreon. Literally, like, value for money. You're not gonna beat it. She does at least a minimum of three different sculpts every single month. Go check her out. The links for everything will be down in the description below. And also, she is allowing me to give the files for this particular model over on my Patreon. So, you know, maybe if you're in the Patreon region neighborhood, maybe you could swing by mine and check that out too. And now I'm not sure if this is explicitly a flesh-colored, skin-colored tone, but it looked like a skin tone to me, so I went ahead and grabbed some of this sand, which I would say is probably akin to like a neutral flesh tone, or like a normal. It's not a pale, it's not dark, it's just a straight-up flesh tone, and we're going to use that to start building up some of the highlights. And now we're going to go ahead with our little DIY orcish dermis, and we're going to take this nomad flesh and we're going to load that up in our airbrush, and we're going to put like maybe 2 drops of the red ink in there. And I also am diluting this a little bit with a thinner, even though it is an airbrush paint and you don't necessarily have to, it still helps. And I don't want it to be, you know, as thick as it normally would be. And also, we're going to spray that into the shadow areas and the bendy parts, because it kind of adds some warmth into the places that look like they should need some warmth. And I also do want to address the, you know, I kind of left some space in here. I kind of let the video drag out a little bit more, because some people did mention that they would like the videos to be a little bit longer, so I didn't time lapse it by like 400,000 times this time. So anyway, we're going to grab our light pink flesh, and we're going to use that to bring out the brightest of the bright highlights. And then to finish everything up, we're going to go ahead and grab our Reichland Flesh Aid, and that's going to go ahead, and it's just going to smooth everything out and kind of tie everything together, and it will tint the skin tone, but it will do so in a very pleasant fashion, or else we wouldn't be using it, and that's going to be the final step for the skin tones. And now just real quickly, we're going to go ahead and throw some of this model color black into the airbrush, and we're going to go ahead and paint her bangs and her ponytail, and we're going to go ahead and paint some of the things that need to be painted black. And then we're also going to grab some gold here in just a second, and well, it's brass, but it's my replacement for gold because I really like the color. It hand brushes really well, it airbrushes really well, and we're going to use that to paint her little shoulder armor that she's wearing. And then finally, with the airbrush, we're going to bust out the Super Chrome because I wanted her sword to be really good and nice and shiny. And this is about as shiny as it gets. And yeah, we're going to paint the blade of her sword with that Super Chrome. And here in just a few minutes, we're actually going to be hand brushing with some of that Super Chrome too. So we're going to go ahead and start painting the details on this model. It's all pretty simple because obviously, if you saw the thumbnail, she's not wearing a whole lot. And what she is wearing is literally, it's like this purple lace thing that's wrapped around her legs. And then there's a gold thing, and it's purple and gold. It's purple. Let's not overcomplicate things that don't need to be done. So it's purple and gold. And I don't really know what to say because this took a long time, but I don't want to cut it out of the video. So I guess we'll just cue up the badass music and we'll have a purple and gold montage. If you look me in my face and tell me this isn't the most awesome purple and gold montage you've ever watched in your life, I'll call you a damn liar. It's literally all of the gold. It's all gold, and this is sped up like so much. Like what you're watching right now is literally at 3,730% the speed. That is sped up like a whole lot, like 3,730% faster than real time. So if it takes me like, 5 minutes, in real life it took me like 4 days. Well, now that the fun part's over, we can go ahead and start painting the rest of her face. So we're going to grab that same black that we used in the airbrush a little bit ago to paint her bangs and her ponytail, and we're going to be painting her hair with the same color because it would be like the weirdest thing in the world if you didn't do that. And then we're going to also paint her eye sockets with a black. And then we're going to come back over top of that black with some white. It's not really a white, it's like a skin tone. But first, before we do that, we're going to hand paint the Super Chrome. And it actually hand paints really well. It's the first time I've ever tried it. And yeah, it works for future reference. So if you pick up some Super Chrome, you can paint with a brush on it. But yes, I did use a very light skin tone to do the white parts of her eyes. And she has brown eyes, so I used a little bit of a Sigor brown there, which is a contrast paint, but it's a really smooth, easy to use paint. So we're going to use that for the darkest parts of the center of her eyes. And then we're going to grab this, I think it was a leather brown color, and we're going to use that to paint the lighter brown portion of the brown inner portion of her eyeball. And then we're going to grab some black again, and we're going to put a little teeny tiny baby dot for the pupil. Then we're going to grab some of this Magos purple, and we're going to go over her eyes. Don't overdo it with this stuff, or she's going to look like she's dead. Unless you want it to be purple, like we did in the Raven video, which you can check right here if you want to. But yeah, don't overdo it with the purple unless you want to overdo it with the purple. And then you're going to grab a gloss, and then you're going to paint the eyes, and you're going to paint the lips with a nice gloss to make everything look all shiny and wet. And now we're going to put this bad boy together, and we have successfully painted all of Deja Thoris. Well, people, unfortunately, it is that time in the video that we must part ways, and if you think that eyebrow right there looks a little janky, well, you're dead-ass right. And if you also think there's some weird stuff going around in the midsection because I tried to fill the gap and just failed miserably and ran out of time, well, you're right about that, too, and I don't give a shit. It happens, okay? Nothing's perfect. I did the thing. I had a fun time. I had a good time painting the model, and when it's sitting on a shelf... When it's sitting on a shelf, no one's going to notice any of this. It doesn't matter. Thank you, patrons. My patrons are the best patrons of all the patrons in the whole world. And if you want your name to join their name in the credits of next week's video, go ahead and check it out. All the links for the things are in the description below. And I will see you guys again next week. Peace.